Well, welcome everybody. Today's workshop is our Beyond the Cleanse transition webinar and call. And thank you so much for being here. I am so excited. It is Friday. So I am Lori Kearney, owner and health coach at Mindful Health. And I have been your facilitator this last week and the owner of the Summer Day Whole Foods Cleanse. I am just so grateful that you all took this time to focus on your health. I know it wasn't easy, so I hope you all can pat yourselves on the back and do a little happy dance. And I just want to acknowledge, this isn't easy. You had to change your routine. You had to do a lot of things different, but I hope that you learned a lot of good things. And today we're going to talk about the different ways that you can transition out of the cleanse. So we spent the last 5 days focused on our health and our well-being. This took a lot of time and energy. And I just want to say again, this is how amazing this is that you did this for yourself. Tomorrow morning, you're going to wake up as a graduate of the 5-day Whole Foods Cleanse. So you're going to feel great tomorrow morning. And I hope this helped give you a new perspective. One of my thoughts when I developed this plan is that I want people to experience what it's like to eat food that is nutritionally dense and supports your system. So your moods are more even and you have more energy. What is it like? And so you can see some of your unhealthy eating habits and how maybe they're not supporting you. You probably recognize them a lot more. And then just to recognize some of these healthy new habits or healthy new ways, hoping that they may be habits to come with you. So we're going to be talking about ideas of how to transition out of the cleanse, because I would love for you to all keep that momentum going and move forward with your health journey. I just have some notes in front of me, so I'm just going to look down every now and then so I can make sure that I don't forget anything. So you're going to be able to choose many different options for how to come out of the cleanse, and you can decide what is right for you, your lifestyle, and where you are at right now. I have noticed in the past, I started doing these cleanses in January, so I did a winter detox, a spring detox, and now this is my third one, that this has been a turning point in a lot of people's lives. And so really looking deep within yourself of what you want your future to look like. It's much bigger than just 5 days. You have that ability to be happier and happier, healthier and happier within yourself. So in our culture, I see that a lot of people, including myself, I used to be this way, we focus on the negatives in life and not always on the positives. So I want to just acknowledge that you stuck through this, that you accomplished this, and I want you to brag to your friends. I want you to feel proud of yourself and not just think about the negatives. Give yourself a chance to celebrate the success. And very important topic I want to talk about is I want you to pay attention to how it feels to be different, how your body feels different right now in your mind and in your spirit. That's what my tagline is: nourishment for your mind, body, and soul. Because we can't just eat the food without being mindful and without practicing self-care and giving gratitude. I think it all comes into play to be a more well-rounded, happy person. So to start off, to talk about some of the different options, if you absolutely love this style of eating and you're just like, I just want to keep doing this, go ahead. There is nothing wrong with that. In fact, this is the way I eat most of the time. I focus on nutrient-dense food, and I don't eat dairy or gluten. I limit my sugar intake. So that is great. This is a wonderful lifetime. If that lifestyle, if that's how you choose, it's a wonderful way to go. When I don't focus on nutrients in my diet, things that happen to me is that my anxiety from after my accident with my traumatic brain injury, anxiety increases, depression increases, oh my goodness, the pain in my body, my head increases. So for me, it's really a necessity. And I think that there's a lot of people who have this way of eating of junk food, which was me 5 years ago, and they think that that's as good as they get. That's how life is for them. They need to struggle. We don't need to struggle. I mean, struggling is really optional. We have that ability to make that choice for ourselves and what we want out of our life. And if you want to have a full life that is going to be easier, that you have better consistent moods, you can have your brain work more better, you know, all these great benefits, then you can just continue on eating this way. If you're intrigued by this, you're not quite sure, but you want to dig deeper, well, another option is just to continue the detox for a few more days. I wanted to respond to some of the chats in the Facebook that, you know, some people are just starting to not feel good on day 4 and 5. And every detox, every cleanse, even if this is your 3rd one with me, you'll notice, people have said too, they're completely different. It depends on our hormones, the weather, what's going on in our lives, so many different things. And we're usually at a different place in our life during each one. So just listen to your body. If you are having some issues, still not feeling the best, your body most likely is telling you that you need to detox a bit longer. We are all unique individuals. So when I coach my private clients or when I talk to anybody, there's no two people alike. So yes, there's a general, this is what typically happens, but you're special if you get that. You know, you're different, and that's okay. That is totally okay. So you might want to extend the detox, the cleanse process for maybe over the weekend, or maybe you want to go a full 10 days. But you can decide, I'm going to keep the Facebook support group open, so I will be there for support, and just let me know what your goals are. If you choose to do this, I would recommend, if you just do it for like 5 more days, to stay on the supplements, the optional supplements, exactly as they are for 5 more days. But if you choose this as a way of life, and Valerie, this is answering your email question, you can take some of the supplements long term, but I'm going to give you some revisions. I would say to cut back on some of the supplements if you want to do this long term, and take just 1 B vitamin and 1 C vitamin. And since most of us live in Minnesota, vitamin D is an important vitamin to have into our diet, but maybe not particularly in the summer months. So vitamin D, you can go down to 1,000 or 2,000 IUs a day, depending on how often you're outside. In the winter, 5,000 or more is typically what is recommended. And if you have not had your vitamin D checked at your doctor, that is a very interesting result to see, okay, are you absorbing the vitamin D, because that affects our mood. So we need to have that. I also recommend that you cycle the milk thistle. So because it can decline if we stay on it long term. So it's more effective when we cycle it. So it's taking it daily for 2 weeks, and then being off of it for 2 weeks, and then going back on it for 2 weeks. And there is more information in that optional supplement guide if you want to continue this cleanse, or if you want to continue this way of eating. So I know many of you are feeling great right now, but you might be like, okay, I'm ready to get back to some of my favorite foods, or that glass of wine or latte. So let's talk now about how to safely reintroduce those foods. So we have the top 3 inflammatory foods taken out of our diet right now. That is gluten, dairy, and sugar. So the safest way to reintroduce them to your body, and to see how your unique body feels with these inflammatory foods, is to go one at a time. And I know this takes a little bit of time, but it is so worth it. I can't even express that enough, because then you get a sense of how each of these impacts your own body. So for example, you might add dairy back. Maybe it's going to be Saturday, Sunday, and Monday for 3 days. And you're going to listen to your body closely. We tend to have a lot of messages from our body, and we don't always listen. So it's paying attention to the pain, different symptoms. So with dairy, if you start to bloat, or if all of a sudden you start to have a runny nose, or you have some digestive, stress, then I would just cut out dairy again. That means that you have some kind of dairy intolerance. And we all are at different levels of these intolerances. 80% of people have a hard time digesting dairy products. So some people can have, probiotic yogurt and hard cheeses, and that's it. Other people just can't have any dairy at all. So just really listen to your body and see how it works for you. So with gluten, gluten is a huge one because you might have some digestive issues when you introduce gluten in. So after you've tried dairy, maybe after that 3 days you keep it out or you keep it in, then you can add gluten back in. If you have any digestive issues like gas, bloating, diarrhea, or constipation, it's probably because of the gluten. This was a huge life-changing thing for me not to have the gluten in my diet. I didn't realize that this inflammation that was put in my body was making my headaches worse. So when you release, for some people, and again, this is around 70-80% of people have some level of sensitivity to gluten, they feel less pain in their body because there's less inflammation. So that is a huge motivation right there. Also, for me, and this is typical for a lot of people with gluten, I had a lot of fatigue with my brain injury, and I think you can tell I'm more of a high energy person, and that's just who I am. So to be tired all the time was just not convenient. And so once I cut gluten out of my diet, and it took a little bit of time, but it was amazing when I added in the nutrient-dense food, how I just became my old energetic self. So it makes a huge impact when you have a food that you have an intolerance to. Another thing, a big one that a lot of people feel with gluten is brain fog and just not having the focus and the concentration. So I was really in this deep fog, so it helped open up and help me just to think a little bit faster. A lot, and also there's inflammation of the joints that gluten impacts. So I've had bad knees since high school from dance line, and when I cut out gluten, I was also starting to do my practice yoga at the same time. But it was amazing that all of a sudden my knees started to feel better as well. So it's truly amazing how food affects our body. And let's see, is there anything else? Oh, yes, I'm missing the biggest ones here. Anxiety, depression, and mood swings. When you put gluten back into your diet, really feel, how are you feeling? Are you feeling more anxious? Are you feeling more depressed? Do you have more mood swings? These are all things to be looking at. And I can say for myself, I don't want to go back to the way I was, so I'm going to stay off of gluten. Every now and then I will treat myself, but I know that there's going to be some consequences when I do. So sugar, oh my goodness. Well, first of all, I have a whole workshop, an hour workshop just on gluten, and I have a whole workshop just on sugar. And that my sugar workshop is my most popular one because it is, like I said, 10 times more addictive than cocaine. And when you just have a little bit of it, you want more. And we crave what we just ate. But with sugar, it is an addictive substance. We should be having, for women, about 6 teaspoons a day. And yes, that's not just me, that's what's recommended. And men around 9 teaspoons a day. So if you drink 1 can of, orange pop, root beer, Coke, that's it. that's over for the whole day. So because we have sugar in so many of our processed foods and it's all over, we are having sugar at toxic levels. I cannot express the next statement enough. Sugar feeds disease. If you have a sick friend, or we do not want to bring them cookies, bring them some kind of vegetables, or, a great green shake, or, a gift card to Whole Foods or something like that. But we want to stay away from sugar. It is one of the biggest contributors to weight gain, and also for inflammation. When you notice your energy is going up and down a lot throughout the day, that's probably sugar. It's almost like a roller coaster that you're on. So it's really hard to get off of that roller coaster. And what you just did for the last 5 days is amazing. And a lot of you have said, like, oh my goodness, I'm not even craving my afternoon, treat anymore. And so you've done all this hard work to stay off of it. Just know you can have a little bit every now and then, that's fine, but know your personality. Some people can have that piece of cake and they're fine, knowing that later on that day it's going to be harder the next day. But some people are just like, they cannot have it at all because it is too hard on them to resist. So I do have some workshops coming up that are sponsored by organizations. They're free to you. So one is on August 3rd, and it's how to kick the sugar habit. And if you are in the metro area, that's at Valley Natural Foods in Burnsville. So it's a free class. It is technically sold out, but just show up anyway, because there's always like 3 or 4 people who just don't show up last minute because it's a free class to them. So just show up. So again, August 3rd, 6:30 to 7:30, how to kick the sugar habit. When you reintroduce corn, corn is a big one for me. My kids, if I eat popcorn, they kind of go, watch out because I get gas. So just when you reintroduce these foods, just listen to all those messages your body is telling you. So now that we've talked about the reintroduction to foods, the different options that you have, now I would like you to think about what you learned about yourself this last week when you could see your diet, your health in a new perspective. Thinking about, okay, what's a new healthy habit that I picked up this week that I would like to continue into my life? And what's something that I just know is not good for my health? Something that you can let go of, and now you have the strength to do it because you've put the vegetables and the nutrients in your diet, so it's going to be easier to let go of a bad habit right now. So maybe the good habit is doing Epsom salt baths. Maybe it's the lemon water in the morning. Or maybe it's to make sure you have a big pile of green vegetables every single day. But what's one thing that you can add in to your day to be more healthy? And then when we do it regularly and as a habit, it makes a huge impact when you think about at the end of a year, and especially if you make these changes about 4 times a year. So conversely, I would like you to add or take away maybe a bad habit. So thinking about what's one thing that maybe you've been doing that you don't want to pick up again. Maybe that's relying on sugar to get through the day. Maybe it's your daily latte, or maybe it's just not moving enough, that you felt great moving more every day. So maybe it's not eating a food group. Maybe it's not eating dairy anymore, or gluten, or sugar. Maybe it's not being mindless about just eating candy from a bowl and just being mindful when we eat. So just choose these habits that you feel comfortable, just maybe leaving in the past, letting it down. I invite you all to write this down, post it in your house, maybe post it a few places to remind yourself. Feel free to post it in the chat room. The chat's down below. And also, if you want, post it in our Facebook group. The more we can say it out loud and keep affirming what's going on, the more we're going to be accountable to ourselves. So just think about the huge difference, just adding one and taking one away once a quarter. It is a huge life-changing event. So if all of this feels a little bit too overwhelming to you, that's okay too. A simple suggestion that I would make is just sticking to the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. As I stated in the training webinar, when you buy those top 12 dirtiest foods organically, you're saving your body 80% of the pesticides that normally come in. So it is huge just to make that one change. So that's a very minor change with a very big payoff. And it's great. The Dirty Dozen, it's great for your wallet too, because then you know, okay, I don't want to buy everything organic, but I'm just going to pick these 12 because typically organic foods are a little bit more expensive. And just, you know, in a nutshell, if it has a hard shell like cantaloupe or watermelon, there's not as many pesticides that get inside. But if it's something like strawberries or an apple, they're going to have a lot of pesticides that get into the fruit that we eat. So, and I believe the best investment we can make is in our health. It doesn't matter if you have these wonderful financial investments, this great job, you know, whatever it is, because if we don't have our health, we can't enjoy all the things that we have around us. And when we are eating more nutrient-dense food, we are going to be more productive at work and probably more successful. We'll be better moods at home with the family. We're going to have less pain, which means less crabbiness, so especially for me. You're at a healthy weight, so you only am buying one size of clothes. And then just less medical and copay visit pays. The thing is, when we eat a healthy diet, there are so many wonderful side effects that everyone, they're different, but it just, the list keeps going on, and you can really reap those rewards right away. So finally, and again, probably the most important thing, I just really want to ask you to pay attention to what's happening in your body when you reintroduce the foods and if you go back to the way that you used to eat. Listen to those body's messages. Are you getting achy joints? If so, it's probably a gluten problem. Are you getting a stuffy nose again? If so, it's probably a dairy problem. So if you have that energy that's just not consistent, maybe there's too much sugar sneaking back into your diet. Sugar really messes our blood sugar and our energy. So the truth is, what we eat affects us. And I still remember that day in my kitchen after I made a smoothie and thinking how much changing my diet changed my recovery from my accident. And this aha moment of food changes everything. So you have the choice. You know, your life can be going in two different directions. By eating food that supports you, or having the processed food that maybe has chemicals in it, so it increases the brain fog, the fatigue, the depression. So when you eat that real nutrient-dense food, the sky is really the limit. And you all know, I mean, the standard American diet, it's called the SAD diet. It's loaded with sugar and salt and additives. And so it leaves our body always inflamed. And that's exactly how I used to eat. I mean, I was, you know, pizza and popcorn and lots of wine and definitely addicted to my Diet Cokes. But this chronic inflammation can really kill your efforts. And this is a pun intended. It can kill our efforts to lose weight, and it's linked to most major diseases like heart disease and cancer and type 2 diabetes. So you can make some dietary changes now to lower that inflammation. And I don't want you all to have this life-altering event like I had this accident happen to you to wake up. I don't want you to have this cancer diagnosis or a heart attack. The best way is preventative care. And our system is a little broken that we go to the doctor more for sick care, and we don't always focus on really the best way is to be working on our health so we don't get sick. Because if you've priced out cancer lately, it's out of control. But also just how it changes your life. So there's no way around it. If you're noticing that you're getting certain symptoms, just try cleaning up your diet again and then adding things back one at a time. You can do this cleanse at any time. I gave you a lot of recipes for many reasons. One, I wanted to make it easy for you these last 5 days so that you can pick the recipes that you think that you would have liked the best, and your family, and the ease with your schedule. But also I wanted to give you an incentive to continue to go, to maybe have this goal of making all the recipes and seeing what else is out there. The chef that I work with, sometimes I get some of those recipes and I'm like, oh, that is not going to be going into my cleanse program, like the watermelon gazpacho. And it's amazing. So just keep an open mind when you see these recipes. And each season is based on what's in season and the foods that are going to detox us best for that weather. I focus more on the Minnesota climate. So we are more hot weather, but I work with people from all over because most of us are having more heat at this time. So, and just, if you're not sure, is it gluten or is it dairy, just cut them both out for the week and then just add gluten back in. If you're starting to feel yucky again, then do the same with dairy. If you don't feel well when you eat dairy, then just take it out. As we've learned this week, it's actually not that hard to cut out foods. And I think you can all agree that eating nutrient-dense food that doesn't have these top inflammatory foods is actually really good. It tastes great, and it supports our health as well. So as a bonus for this summer cleanse, I included a guide that I'm really excited, and I hope you all read it. It's called the Make It Last, Your Post-Cleanse How-To Guide. So I have a couple different sections in here, but I want this to be this turning point in your life. And so if you kind of slide back a little bit, how to get yourself back up. So healthy habits to add into your daily schedule, your weekly schedule, and your monthly basis. So daily would be like eating greens, having those power foods and nutrient-dense foods. Thinking about 50% of your plate should be fruits and vegetables. Having more water, moving every day, developing stress relief strategies, having self-care, a weekly meal plan, exercise. Those could all be on the weekly basis. By the way, the next cleanse that I'm going to do, I'm going to have a great new bonus guidebook all on self-care, because I'm noticing how much self-care impacts people's lives, and we need to focus on that. So I'm going to really dive into that. And then on the monthly basis, it's just checking in with yourself and going, how am I doing? What's happening when you eat out, go out to eat? What's in your pantry? Do you have some good things stocked so you can quickly make something healthy? And just maybe, once a month, really practice that extreme self-care. And then quarterly, just to hit that reset button to do a detox or a cleanse. I would invite you all back to do it with me. I think it's so much fun, and I would love to have you all back. And then I also have in there some tools to continue this pattern. So it's not always about being perfect, so just remember that, okay? But there's a meal planning template, and we also have a pantry stocking guide and a course shopping list. I also made a worksheet that's called my backslide habit worksheet. So when you feel that you're kind of guiding towards unhealthy foods, just to read this worksheet, go through it, and see how you can get back into that path. So again, it's not always about being perfect. The way I eat is about 80%, 90% nutritionally dense food, and 10 to 20% I will have chips and salsa sometimes. You know, it's okay. We don't need to be 100% perfect. Enjoy what we have, but get the nutrients in it. And recognizing when you're about to go back to a bad habit. For me, years ago when I cut out Diet Coke, that was because I was such an addict. It was really difficult for me. And I would see myself having one every now and then, and I just decided I just had to cut it out, because I kept seeing myself sliding back into that habit very easily. So, and with my private coaching clients, I really try to focus on having them master this skill, so that when they see themselves going back to their old ways, how they can emotionally connect to why they want to have this change and to continue to be healthy. I would also be happy to connect with any of you about my private health coaching. So if it interests you, let me know. I work with people typically on a 3 or 6 months basis, and then we do sessions either like this video chat or phone, or if you're in the South Metro area, we can meet in person. But each client is very unique, so I really figure out what are their roadblocks, and sometimes they don't even know what they are, and they're typically 5 to 10 different roadblocks, and sometimes we can tackle them in one session, and sometimes it may take them up to tackle something. So it's, you go at your own pace, and I love my focus is really working with people who are eating that American diet, that standard American diet, and then gradually making small changes from processed foods into real foods, thinking about how our thoughts are, if we believe we can do things, affirmations, and a lot of different things like that. As a bonus for anybody who has done 2 or 3 of my cleanses in the past, you are all getting a complimentary one-on-one health coaching session with me. So if you're interested in doing that, please email me or call me, and we'll get something scheduled right away. But it's a great opportunity to talk about the cleanse, some of your challenges, and maybe put some goals together and a plan in place for you for the future. So I just have to say, I just loved supporting you all this week. I think it is so much fun. And every detox and cleanse I've done, I've also loved the support that you give each other. I think it's amazing how you all support each other. So if you would like to do these again, I'm going to send out a survey. I'm not sure if I should do a fall or not, so let me know if you're interested in fall, but definitely I will be back up for winter and spring. But if you're interested in fall, I have all the recipes ready, so let me know if that interests you. Let's see. Oh, and also, I just want to let you know, I do wellness workshops at corporations and organizations. So some of you are actually some of my clients at the corporations, but let me know if you would like this training at your workplace. I have about 15 different workshops, and I also tailor workshops to your organization. So let me know if that interests you, and give me the contact, and I will take it from there. But as always, I always love feedback because I want to do this for you. So any information you have to make it better, I would love to hear that. So I'm going to open up for questions now. So if you want to come into that chat room, that would be great. And I did have some emailed to me, so I'm just going to start with those. I had a lot of, it's an email, but also in the Facebook group, a lot of people talk about sleep. And so I just wanted to quickly talk about some sleep things. One, we really need to maintain a daily schedule to go to bed around the same time, wake up at the same time, to get on that good sleep cycle. Finding about 30 minutes before bed to relax. This could be light reading, some gentle yoga, stretches. We want to work out wisely. So we don't want to do a really big, robust workout right before bed, because energy creates more energy. Dinner should be the lightest meal of the day, and that's for many different reasons. But for sleep, we don't want to be digesting our food while we're trying to sleep, because that's going to keep us awake. So I always trying to focus on dinner as the lightest meal. For snacks at night, I always avoid sugar, and so often, you know, kids like to have a bowl of sugary cereal or something like that, but just try to not have sugar at night because it overstresses our organs, and then we get stressed, and then cortisol comes in, and then we get more fat on our belly. So we just need to avoid the sugary snacks, but like protein or a healthy fat would be good before bed if you need it. Reduce your daily intake of caffeine. So caffeine actually stays in our system for about 12 hours. So really thinking about what time you end drinking your caffeine, and even small amounts like in chocolate have found to affect people's sleep. Relax with herbal tea, so enjoying, you know, a half a cup of ginger or chamomile, having any like the sleepy time teas. I love having chamomile tea before bed. I think it's a very relaxing habit. Always, you know, caffeine free in the evening. Limit alcohol. A lot of people are confused by this one because you get tired. Sometimes when you drink, you might feel drowsy, but it's actually a stimulant, and it might pass you out to go to sleep, but it might wake you up in the middle of the night. And then also, this is an obvious one, to limit beverages before bed so you're not getting up to go to the bathroom, which I was this last week. Adding essential oils, oh my goodness. After my accident, I first slept all the time, and then I couldn't sleep at all. And so that was my first time being introduced to essential oils, and could not believe the difference. So oils, especially lavender, I love diffusing lavender and cedarwood before bed, or else doTERRA makes one called Serenity. It's a blend, and it's nice and calming. I put that in my bath with Epsom salt, and I also diffuse it. You can also put it in a bottle with some water and let you know, and you can spray it. And if you want anything, let me know. I do advocate for doTERRA and can order you something at a discounted rate. So also Valerie emailed, I think it was Valerie that emailed me about melatonin. So yes, you can increase your melatonin. Adding maybe like a half of a milligram to 2 milligrams can be helpful about 90 to 60 minutes before bed. The thing that I want to warn you about melatonin is that if you add too much, then your body doesn't produce it naturally. So I would not suggest going over that 2 milligrams and using it temporarily. So just for like a few days or for a few weeks. So when I travel, I usually bring it with me, or when needed, but it's not a good habit to get into long term. And as we talked about in the Facebook chat, we talked about magnesium, and this is a mineral that a lot of people are deficient in, and there are many different symptoms to be deficient, but one is not sleeping well. And so this is the relaxing, chill kind of mineral. And I take 500 milligrams every night, even though I am eating, you know, kale and avocados and all these magnesium-rich foods. I felt that in my body when I listened to it, that I was sleeping better and feeling more calm when I took magnesium before bed. So 300 to 600 milligrams is typically good. And you know, talk to your doctor before you start anything, so it can see if it interferes with anything else that you may be taking. And turning off all electronic devices. Oh my goodness, that's the hardest one, right? And then just doing breathing and relaxation techniques before bed. So, and I do have a sponsored workshop on sleep coming up, so it'd be free to you if you would like to go to it. It's Wednesday, August 9th. And it's from 6:30 to 8, and that is sponsored by Dakota County Library, so it's at Westcott Library in Eagan. And I'll just throw out another one I have. It's Thursday, August 10th, Eating for Energy, and that's in Burnsville at the Burnhaven Library, 6:30 to 8. So these are great opportunities, so I would just sign up. I know some of you, it might be a drive. Some other questions in the Facebook page were, if you have your period during the cleansing process, how does that affect it? And yeah, it actually does. It makes a big difference for women of where we are in our cycle. Again, we're all unique, and so each time we cleanse, it's going to be different. But it does make a big difference of when we're cleansing. And Yeah, and it's just amazing, like people who've done multiple ones, they have a different experience each time. And if you have someone commented, I think it was Christine, about, she was like, oh, I don't think I'm really losing weight, but her belly looks flatter. Sometimes we want to make sure we're not pushing it too hard. And I'm not sure if this is the case for you or not, because I know you've been very diligent. But I would suggest you continue to go on with the cleanse for over the weekend, but maybe not do the deepening detox processes, just to try to have some more time just to truly relax. I've had some clients that were doing so much with running and just working out all the time, and what they needed to lose weight was to do some yoga and do some more gentle things. So I know you are doing some gentle things, so I just want to make sure that you're not overwhelmed. And so just to ease up, but stick to the program and keep in touch with me. So let me know if you want to talk on the phone. And to release water retention, she asked about that. Make sure you don't add a lot of salt, and continue eating this way, because these are all nutrient-dense food that's going to help promote that. And also, it depends on what your diet was like before. And I'm not sure what your diet was like before, but typically if someone's having like a lot of processed food, they have a bigger difference in the weight loss than if somebody is already eating a whole foods diet. Then it's going to be a little bit smaller. And let's see. Okay, and then I think Rachel and Christine both said, oh, I'm not feeling that great today. Yeah, and sometimes because we're all different, I would suggest to continue on, because that sounds like your body is probably still detoxing. It could be that you just have a cold or something, but to just notice that. And let's see, on the Facebook, Bernie asked, is it helpful to analyze our pee and poop? In the past, it seems that my pee smelled different if I ate a lot of sweets, but this week I still smell like I had too much sugar. Okay, well, first of all, our urine should be like a light yellow or clear. If it has a lot of color to it, we're probably not drinking enough water. And yes, definitely with what we eat changes the smell of our urine. And I know in the spring we had some asparagus meals, and oh, that makes a big difference. So I would say the biggest thing is adding more water to your diet, and the more water and vegetables you can have, the more you're going to detox out the sugar that has already been in your diet. So you may want to continue on also for a few more days. And for bowel movements, it's not normal to be constipated and to go every 2-3 days. It's more normal to be going every day and during a cleanse. I know some of you have commented by email that you are going many times during the day, and that's good. We need to eliminate the toxins, and that's one of the ways: breathing, sweating, or pooping. So if you are still not having regular bowel movements, I do have in, I think it's the handbook, some suggestions for some natural laxatives to take, but again, increasing the water and vegetables to help move things along, and moving your body too. That's what we really need for that. Okay, now let me just look into, see if there's any chats. Okay, let's see. Is it worthwhile to reduce gluten but not be gluten-free? Yes, you can do that. I would first see what your sensitivity is. So you can reduce your gluten to 0, which you are right now, and then put it in just so you know your body. So if you put it in tomorrow, then on Monday, really discover, like, okay, how does my back feel? How's the pain in my back? How do my joints feel? Really listening to your body. And if you don't have a lot of signs that you have a gluten intolerance, then you can put gluten back in. And yeah, I think it's better even if you don't have an intolerance, just to limit that would be good. And gluten is a protein that's found in barley, wheat, and rye. And when you see those processed foods, like gluten-free, just yes, they might be gluten-free, but they also could be loaded with sugar and all these other unhealthy things. So the best thing is just to eat all real foods. Oh, somebody else said, thank you for all your support, Lori. Great job. Thank you. I love it. Oh, Heartburn at the end of a meal, any suggestions? I would suggest keeping a log and seeing if there are certain foods that are causing heartburn. Are you sitting straight up? Are you drinking enough water? Really chew your food. And I know the 42 times is crazy, but I challenge you all just to chew your food at least one meal a day until you are not chewing anymore. So, but yeah, but Bernie, I would definitely keep a journal because there are certain foods that act up to certain people. Maybe decide too, are you full or are you satisfied? A lot of us tend to eat until we're full, and then we might get heartburn and discomfort. And really, that's only in America. If you go to other countries, you'll see most people you eat till you're satisfied and go from there. So really discovering how your perception is of how much you eat. Okay, let me see if there's anything else. Okay, if there's any other questions, feel free to post right now. Let's see. Okay, so again, I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so grateful that, one, that you did this for yourself, and two, thank you for trusting me to guide you here. It's my honor to be here, and I loved it. I hope that you all have learned something about yourselves. I wanted this to be much bigger than just 5 days, that you can really see your life in a different perspective. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I try to make it a little fun sometimes, and I hope you are just extremely proud of yourself of what you accomplished. So here's to health and wellness on your journey here. I'm really excited to be supporting you on this health journey. So congratulations again. And tonight, I want you to don't cheers with that glass of wine yet. We are still on the cleanse. So pop into Facebook tonight. I want to see lots of pictures of dinner, and I have a tea going on right here, an herbal iced tea. And then tomorrow night, if you want to have that glass of wine, maybe add it with a little bit of sparkling water or something to see where you can go with lessening that habit. And again, like I said, the Facebook group is going to stay open. I am going to put a link via email and Facebook with my client Facebook private group. So I will invite you all to that, and that's where I post about 5 days a week, inspirational things. And I would love you can post meals, you can post whatever you want with questions, but I'm there to support you and to continue helping you on your journey. So again, reach out to me if you're interested in health coaching or having me at your workplace for a wellness workshop, or if you have any concerns with the cleanse, and I'll still be in the Facebook group. So again, we're going to be signing off. Thank you so much, and tomorrow morning, feel so proud that you graduated from this program. Have a great day, everybody. Happy Friday.